You could hate me because I'm bad, but now I know you're just jealous. Hey, what is up guys? Joyceinator back here again, and I am super pumped to be bringing you this video this week. I've been looking forward to making this for a long time, but I've held off. I wanted to wait until after the Red Crow update came out for Rainbow Six Siege, and if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, you know that I'm kind of obsessed with roaming as the character Rook, which is really unconventional since he's heavy and he's really slow, and it's not exactly the easiest to get around when you play as him. But the reason I'm making this video now is because he's even more relevant as a roamer in Red Crow than he was back in Operation Skull Rain. And since the update for Red Crow, I've been having a lot of fun, a lot of success using him as a roaming character, so I wanted to bring you some footage of this. You're seeing some right now. You probably recognize this strategy for the clubhouse map where we spawn in the basement and I come upstairs and I sit in the bar and I start doing some surveillance work and batten down a couple hatches. So this is basically how it works if you're not familiar with the Roamin Rook strategy. You put down your packs and you pretty much get the hell out of there. And this was back during the Hibana glitch, so you know the game would freeze a little bit back then, but doesn't really affect you too much if you kind of know what you're doing. So basically, yeah, you go up and you displace yourself, usually one story off of the objective. And here's the Hibana I was just talking about, and she should have probably had me there, but scrubs are as scrubs do. So definitely another scrub who wanted to play Hibana even though they didn't really know what they were doing. But basically, that's how it works. I get up there, I get up into a spot where they're not expecting a character, let alone a heavy character, and I just kind of hide and go on cameras for a while, figure out what they're up to, and then cut them off at a choke point before they can get to the objective in the first place. Very roaming character kind of thing to do. And as you can see right here, that Hibana was their only viable option to get through this sort of ceiling breach that I'd battened up here. And because they lost her from a heavy character not being where they expected it to be, they were kind of boned and they didn't really even stand a chance. Here's another gameplay on house. I like this whole kind of ability to move around like crazy, especially in the garage spawn. There's a few other spots I like to do it. Pretty much any spawn room for an objective on house is a great opportunity to use Roamin Rook just because of how versatile the map is and all the places you can get to thanks to his impact grenades. Now, before the impact grenade update came out, Rook would have been a terrible option to use as a roamer, but because of the impact grenades, you can get around all of these areas that you couldn't get through before. If you need to punch a hole in a wall, you can totally do that. If you need to go downstairs and just cut out running over to a flight of stairs and running all the way down, you can just blast a hole in the floor and go wherever you want, which is really nice considering his only real weapon options are the MP5 and the P90, so it's not like he had a shotgun where he could do that stuff before. But as you'll see here coming up later on in some of the later gameplays I'm going to be showing you today, the impact grenade is probably one of the best defensive equipments you can use, and Rook has just the perfect ability to mix heavy hitting and heavy damage with that extended mobility thanks to the impact grenades. Now this game I particularly enjoyed. As you can see, we're down early. This is with one of my favorite squads that I like to run. It involves Fishnator and Jam on Toast and Asian, who are all fantastic Siege players. Shout out to you guys for always being around to have a good squad together. And as you can see here, we're already down. I'm blasting a hole in the floor here. Fish down traded right here, so we're going to take out the Hibana laying on the floor. And as you can see here, one of the beautiful things about being a heavy roamer, or roaming as a heavy character, I should say, I'm picking up fish, and I can afford to tank a couple bullets because I have the extra armor and protection to be able to do that. I get fish up, and suddenly we're right back in this in terms of numbers. It's only a 2-3 disadvantage instead of a 1-3. Like it probably would have been if I couldn't have gotten him up there. But as you can see, because I've been all over the place, they really don't know exactly where to expect me from. That fuse really didn't want to die. You'll see here I have to fight him a couple of times just to get rid of him, since he's running his shield, and it's really kind of frustrating to try to take him on head on with any character, let alone one that's not fast enough to outflank him. So, but yeah, as you can see, pretty much I just set down my packs, I take off. In this case, I go upstairs because it's not too long of a trip to get around. Other times, sometimes I'll just kind of hang out in that weightlifting area, and they're really just not expecting to see a heavy character or someone who can punch a hole in the wall and just take them out as they're coming around. So you can see right there I'm down 1-3 because Fishnader gets caught out of position, and thanks to an unfortunate team killing incident on their end and flanking movement on my part, I'm in a nice 1v1, even though we've been consistently down this entire game. But you'll see this ability to move around, even though I'm such a heavy character with all that armor, it really pays off. And here comes the impact grenade, just giving me that little bit of an extra boost that I needed to win that one-on-one gunfight against a shield. Super, super valuable and really nice to be able to do. For some reason, despite how good of a strategy this is, people hate me for it, and I constantly get, harassed or like messaged, and people are upset with me when I'm roaming as Rook. But then I go and I clutch around like that, and it's just over and done with. You'll see here some we were playing ranked on Clubhouse, and again we're in the basement on playing bomb though this time. And one of the nice things about having a roaming Rook character is I can just go right up there, button down the hatches, and they don't have to worry about it. They can get their room secured, do whatever they want to the interior room, even if they don't plan on sticking around in there. So I'm up here, I'm in the bar again, and I don't really need to lock down all of the hatches. Sometimes I leave them open as bait, but I button down the one that I think is going to be the most valuable, and I go and I kind of camp out the rest of this round, and at least for starters. Now, the nice thing about him having those impact grenades to be able to get around stuff, see, since the ceiling hatch right over there is kind of displaced from where I need to be, if I want to, I can leave that unprotected and then just blast it open and get right back down there where I'm supposed to be. I can hop right back on cameras, start pinging like crazy, identifying. You can see here, I don't think it shows yet, but they do have a thermite on their team, so going up against a triple breaching team where two of them can get through reinforced panels, super, super helpful to have a heavy hitter who is displaced and can interrupt what they're trying to do on those panels, because a lot of times you get roaming characters who are not so heavily armored or don't deal super heavy damage, and they just get outfought in gunfights against characters like Blackbeard or even Hibana, who can do some pretty serious damage really quickly, especially with that new sidearm. So you'll see me here, as always, I get to my spot, I go on cams right away, and I keep peeking them, trying to figure out exactly what they're doing, where they're coming from. And in this case, this dude, super cool guy, Mac Rico, was playing with us, picks up a couple kills as the Caveira, which is always nice. If you can have a couple of strong players knock down a kill or two early, it gives you a lot more freedom and leeway to move around and play. I guess a lot of people would call it playing like an idiot, but if you know what you're doing, especially the more you use this kind of strategy, the more you figure out where you're safe to move to. You can see over here I have a ceiling breach that I didn't button down. I didn't really have a chance to because, being a slower character, you don't have an opportunity to run all the way over there. You kind of have to prioritize which hatches are going to be your best option and figure out which ones you can leave open. That said, obviously right here I have this one left wide open. They're down to 2 right now. It's an Ash and a Thermite, and I know that they got to be around here somewhere. And right here you'll see exactly why the impact grenade is so valuable. There's no way I can get in there and try to disrupt this Thermite. Oh, but yes I can, because you'll see it, and you'll see it again in the next gameplay, which is also in ranked. Because this isn't just, a strategy that I use when I'm playing casual and just kind of dicking around. This is like a serious strategy that really works wonders. But all the time you see like these situations where you're trying to move up, and there's a claymore in the way, and it completely cuts off your path, except you can lob that impact grenade in there and just get that lane of traffic right back open. And here we are yet again on Clubhouse, going match point in ranked, trying pretty hard to pick up the win here. This was during placement for Red Crow rankings, so obviously we kind of cared a little bit more about this, trying to get this match point wrapped up. And you'll see on top floor, even though I don't go downstairs, I still displace myself off the objective, and it pays off wonderfully. So by now you kind of know the drill. I'm just gonna let the gameplay speak for itself a little bit, and I just want to thank everyone who watched my last video, making it the most popular video I've ever watched at 375 hits at the time of this upload. Super huge for my channel. I never expected to get that kind of feedback or response to something that I'm putting up ever. You know, it's just phenomenal, and I just want to thank everyone who helped make that possible. If you are new to the channel, or you've only really seen that, I noticed a lot of people watched it and it was great. But if you could subscribe to my channel and stick around for more content like that, more Rainbow Six Siege is probably in the works. I did just put together a new intro for my channel videos, and my first montage from Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Some pretty cool stuff in there, so if you could just kind of subscribe and watch out for those. One of them is going to be going up on this Friday, and then I'll have the other one up probably next Friday, along with my regular weekly Wednesday upload. So that'll be super cool. I'm really pumped. If you've watched this far in the video, I do appreciate it. Watching this far in any of my videos is super helpful to me in terms of growing my channel and getting these videos noticed. So a huge thanks there. And you'll see again here, just to go back to commenting on the video, I do go back on cams, even though I'm still right by the objective. It helps because you find like these little hidey holes where you go in and you kind of get away from all of the players on the other team and end up where they're not expecting anyone to be, let alone a heavy hitting character. Sorry about that. But yeah, it works out great. I'll let the rest of the gameplay speak for itself. I do want to ask one last thing of all of you who have stuck around this long. Obviously, if you've stuck around this long in the video, you probably enjoy my content. And I just want to ask that you go ahead and tell your friends about it. It means a lot. And I got to get word spread out about this channel in any way that I can. So if you wouldn't mind telling your friends and getting them to watch this stuff, especially if they like Rainbow Six Siege or shooters in general, that'd mean a whole lot to me. It'd be really cool and really helpful for this channel. So with that said, I'm just going to let this last probably 30 seconds or so of gameplay speak for itself. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Peace out. I will see you on Friday and then again next week, Wednesday, as always. Thank you so much for watching.
I took out the claymore.
15 seconds left.
I'm not.
She's still there. She's around
10
there.
seconds to go.
Nice.
I got her.
5 seconds remaining.
I think so,
Good
yeah.
game.
Good game. Good fucking game.